King.
We are live.
Oh, yes, we are live because we went straight to
We
live
are
today.
live. We went straight to live.
We went straight to live because Rodney doesn't know how to click buttons, and Seth's not here to click the buttons for Rodney. So you're gonna have to
Hey.
excuse us, folks. welcome to
Hi,
another
guys.
welcome to another edition of Inside.net with co-host Elon. And
Hi.
today, yeah, right. I'm trying to do things. And today, this way, that way. There we go. That way. We got maximize fun, right? We got Hassan Habib back with us today to talk about more amazing technology. Today's topic of conversation is OpenAI, which is something that I knew nothing about until one of my web friends was like, "Hey, Rodney, this thing's amazing," and I was like, "Okay, what would I use it for?" And I've had questions about it ever since. So, we're gonna jump right in, and I'm just gonna ask you, okay, what is OpenAI?
That's
Absolutely. It's a company or an organization that was set up about 4 years ago. It was led by a gentleman called Sam Altman. He had a dream, right? He had a dream to kind of build, artificial general AI, right? And the idea here is to be able to just, go in the Turing test, to be able to go in a box and ask the computer a bunch of questions. And it's so good and it's so realistic. It feels like it's coming from a human being. It just kind of really focused information. It gets to some levels that you wouldn't even imagine when it comes to the perfection of the output of it. To put all of this in kind of simple terms and kind of show people just up ahead what we're talking about here, imagine this. Let's just say, this is ChatGPT right here.
Oh,
Of
wait,
course.
hold on. You're moving so fast.
Yes.
There we go.
I'm going.
That's
So
ChatGPT right there. Now it's there.
right. So imagine this. If I go and say, write a piece of poetry about, following engineering best practices. Okay? Watch what it does. The realm of engineering where innovation thrives. There are practices to follow to ensure it survives. Best practices, they're called a set of rules, guidelines that engineers must heed to create design sublime, and so on and so forth. Now, here's the crazy part.
Okay.
Can you convert that? Can you reword that as if it was a Tupac song? Watch this. In the world of engineering, where the game is innovation, there are rules to follow for flawless creation. The best practice. I'm not a rapper, so just deal with it, But look at this. It's just like it says. What if I just go and say, how about if Shakespeare wrote that? What would it look like? And then it goes on and on like this.
I'm gonna be the guy that asks the stupid question, right?
Go ahead.
Okay, so it wrote poetry the first time. Why is the second time so amazing?
Right.
You said that's
Because
not the
it's
amazing part.
real. Because it's real.
Like, that's what's so crazy to me.
It's not a fluke. It's not a fluke.
Yes,
It's a pure thing. You put something in and you get something out. Like, okay, that makes sense, right? Like, because now you have an endpoint that you can ask questions to, and it's giving you reasoned about answers.
Yes,
Right?
it is a reasoning engine, not a data engine. Sam Altman really presses on that because sometimes its reason is flawed. Sometimes it will give you information that is completely not true, right? And that's totally part of the progression or evolution of this system. And this is a really, really important thing. Two things just for people to know. This is a reason engine. It plays on things that to it makes sense, but it doesn't necessarily in reality make sense, to us because there are certain parameters that it's not there yet. When it reaches that certain parameters, that's what we call artificial general AI, right? Or artificial general intelligence. What that basically means is that it's actually incorporating all the different parameters. It gets to a point where it's hard to kind of determine whether the person writing that answer is actually a human or an AI, right?
That's trippy. That's
That
so
is
trippy.
trippy.
But it's not though, right? Because like the whole concept of it is, right, like you said, it's real, right, and it's flawed, right, and it's a reason engine, no different than me or you, right. I've been
Mm-hmm.
flawed before.
Yeah.
I've given people incorrect information before and had to come back and say, oh wait, no, I was wrong. So how is that any different than anyone else's learning?
Ah, I see what you're saying. But sometimes it's just
Whoa.
really obvious things. Like if you tell it, hey, 5 women were pregnant, right, in March 1st, 2022. When will they all give birth? It calculates 2, 3 years ahead. So that's just obvious things because the calculation, it's not there, right? You know what I mean? So it's still growing though. But to your point, Rodney, and this is actually a really deep point, it's also incorporating our imperfections.
That is
Yeah,
amazing.
it
And
really
that's
And
the
is.
point
I
for me. Go ahead,
yeah.
Alon.
So okay, what is the difference between OpenAI and just regular AI? Is there a difference? Is it like an open source type of situation? Like what is it?
OpenAI is not open source, but
Okay.
the standards of it are like how they built this, like the APIs are, you can consume these APIs and whatnot. It's it's a product of AI. Like Bard from Google is also a product of AI. ChatGPT is. Bing is built on top of that. It has its own Azure Cognitive Services, and there are so much efforts now around the world, people that are trying to make this technology accessible, cheap, and also be able to run offline, which we will also talk about, here in a little bit. But
Spicy.
the one thing I wanted to kind of just talk about mainly today is that I was just talking to Rodney about this, before we started the podcast or the stream, and I know that there's a lot of engineers out there that could use this today. They could benefit from this. They want to learn this. They just don't know where to start. They just don't know how to begin. And even if they know where to start, if you have the videos and the documents and the code and everything, it's still a very lonely, kind of endeavor to learn on your own.
Yes.
So I decided, I swear to God, this is exactly how it happened. One Friday night, I called, a friend of mine who's on Australia. His name is Brian Parker. I said to him, hey, you want to go on a stream with me and build a library on top of OpenAI so people kind of see how to use OpenAI in the .NET community, but also we can learn as we're building the library, this way. He was like, yeah, sure. Let me go just, shave my beard and come right in. I was like, that's optional. You don't have to do that, you know.
Optional.
And we started this, and we started the stream. The stream hit almost 8,000 views, just first hit, which kind of, have you
That's
have you
wild.
guys, yeah, have
Yeah.
you guys ever been in a situation where just something hits you right, and you know that this is what you're supposed to do right here, right now?
Flow.
It-
Flow.
yes,
Yeah.
flow, exactly. That's exactly what happened. And we went out there and we basically said, I said to him, I don't know, I never done live streams before. I usually pre-record. I usually just pre-record and just put it on my channel. I've done live streams in other channels, but not this particular channel. And I basically said, hey, let's just go out there and just build it. Okay. To my surprise, people started joining in and they started building the library with us. I just want to show you, what happened there.
Yeah.
If you look
That is
at,
amazing.
yes,
You're there we go.
if you look at the channel itself in the live stream sections in here,
Yeah.
actually, let's go to the list, right? So in the list, we are about, let me show you here. We are about 20, up until yesterday, we are about 23 sessions in,
Nice.
building an entire system from scratch, from ground up, right? More important than AI and all of that stuff, I want to show people what it's like to produce a product in the fastest and easiest way possible, what it's like to pair with people, what it's like
Yes.
to work kind of hand in hand. Like if you look throughout the entire session, we're passing tasks back and forth like that. There's a point in time where we just go and say, hey guys, I think we're ready. If you type in OpenAI in here and just find in the standard AI, OpenAI, we have a library, living, breathing library that was just produced 11 days ago and has already 473 downloads. Okay,
Oh
this
my
happens,
gosh.
right, right. This happens when you kind of you want to reproduce a feature at a time. You want to put a feature at a time and allow an entire community to be a part of this work. There's a lot of contributors. Like imagine this, I just started this like a month ago. And if you look at the contributors on this project, we have 28 contributors from everywhere around the world. How beautiful
Wow.
is that?
That is gorgeous.
And I just want to make sure, like I really press on this idea that while we are talking about OpenAI, this is really mostly just a community endeavor. What it's like to bring a bunch of people together, passionate about a particular topic, and have them sit down together every night for a couple of hours, consistently every day, and how they can start shipping out features and stuff like that. It's amazing, isn't it? I have some people joining the stream where it's like 3 in the morning in their country from Puerto Rico. It's like they're like it's 3 in the morning. I'm like, it's really late. It's like I'm really excited about this. This is the only way for me I'm going to learn about OpenAI and actually grow in that endeavor. What do you guys think?
I love it. I mean, it's right up my alley because like I live stream for the sake of doing it, not because I think that there's any real value in it, right? But it's just doing it, right? Like, and it's the fact that you had the spark. You're like, hey, we should just do this and see how it goes, right? And the fact that people find value in it is the most amazing thing, because people have come to me and said, oh yeah, Rodney, I found this stream and it really helped me. And I'm like,
yes,
glad that it did something for someone, because that wasn't the intent. The intent was like, I have an idea. I like to show people how things are done. Right?
Oh,
our
Rodney.
industry
There
is.
Dude,
Oh,
sorry.
You kind of glitched out just a little bit.
Yeah. which goes to prove maybe we are in the Matrix and AI is trying to kind of.
Hey, don't make me dissociate right now. I'm on live.
So there's no black cats in my house. I'm gonna need you to stop.
Don't make me dissociate.
You know, you're right. This is too much. Okay. So you have been doing this live stream, right? You've been or building something on top of OpenAI, right? So now people you've got to document it so that people can see that you're shipping something, right?
Yes.
And that again is a missing piece of our industry,
yes,
which is sometimes people don't see what it takes to get a product from inception to completion.
Yes.
And that disconnect is very hard. So being able to leave an artifact to show people, hey, I had this idea, and 25, 30, 60 days later, I'm able to produce an artifact that satisfies the beginning of that idea. That's a very big missing piece of our industry. So I'm glad that you're leaving that artifact.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's valuable. It's valuable.
Absolutely. Want to see how it works?
Go ahead. I want to see how it works. But one thing that I think it's so funny is like what it sounds like to me is an example of synergy, which is like when everybody is just in alignment and they're doing their part, and all of a sudden like the magic just starts flowing, and you guys are just working together and cooperating together to build something amazing.
Yep.
My question is like, how is it when it comes to managing tasks? And like, is it like everybody's just going to what their strongest skill is, or like how are you guys like discerning that?
That's a beautiful question. That's $100 million question, because that's the piece that's missing when engineers are excited about something. How do we organize our work? How do we start? Especially when you don't have a sort of an organized team. It's just in the open source space, people from all over the place. What do you do? So here's the strategy. The first feature that I shipped, I recorded every single component in it and every single piece of it as I'm pairing with people for a purpose. To take these recorded sessions later and go do something like this. I'm going to share my screen with you here. This is how I'm managing this project, basically. Let's go in here. And you're going to see on the left side here something called milestones. And these milestones are basically the features that we want to implement, right? And every one of these milestones, you're going to see closed ones and opened ones and all that good stuff, right? Inside these milestones, you're going to find issues. Every one of these issues, if you go inside one of these issues, you're going to find all the documentation and the recording from the original session, because we're following strict standardization. So you do it once, you do it a million times. There is no surprises there. You know, when there is something that needs a little bit of research, you can go do a research. But the documentation of the task is super important. Where does this task fall within the components of the standard? So you can see here, here's what we want. You know, here, I want you to make sure that the endpoint is working with the API. You know, find the references, you know, check out what brokers mean. It takes you to the documentation about our engineering standards and guidelines, how you can construct that. But also, here is how the standard community have developed a similar feature. And the beautiful thing about all of this is that the community breaks down long sessions like these into segments so you can navigate real quick and find the piece that you want. If you go into further tasks up here, it will even tell you, hey, you can't actually execute this task until this one is completed. And it shows you a status on whether the task is complete or not. We're leveraging GitHub, the heck out of GitHub. We're making GitHub work the way it was supposed to make sure that, people can actually get, all the information they need. And then at the end, I basically say, hey, claim this issue. We'll give you 24 hours to solve it. If not, we will reassign it and move on. And as you can see, people can say, I claim this issue and I can move forward with it. I can implement that feature. You get to see where you are on the map, what feature you're working on without having to have daily 3-hour meetings. You don't have to have planning and grooming sessions. You don't have to have even stand-up sessions. You just need to write all the details in there and let the community pick it up and run with it. What do you guys think?
That is wild. That is
So
wild.
what I would like for you to do is I'd like you to bottle this so that we can sell it, right? Because this is the secret. Like I make the joke, but this is the secret sauce, right? Like,
yes.
How do you work in a distributed?
We're gonna have to tell him to reset the router.
Yeah,
Rodney!
you cut out just a little bit. It's
Just a
okay.
little.
I know it's an amazing question
It's a
you're
rough day.
asking.
It's been a rough day.
What
All
were you
is well.
saying? Tell me your question. What was the question?
Well, there is no question. It's this is the way. I mean, this is how you run a distributed project to ensure your standards are maintained.
Exactly. Have you ever heard how much engineers really hate meetings? They don't want to be in long meetings. They don't want to be stuck into grooming and planning sessions. How do you minimize that? If you write an engineering standard and you tell people, here's exactly the things that I want, and you actually put the time and effort into the documentation, give people examples. Don't just drop them in the middle of the ocean. Don't just tell them build a boat. What kind of boat? Small boat, big boat? What color is it? Where does it go? What matters to me, right? I usually tell people, and this is something very common in the tech industry. You guys know this, the rubber duck, the rubber duck kind of idea. You try to explain the task to a rubber duck. How much detail are you going to go into to make a rubber duck understand what you're trying to accomplish? The point here is to basically go and say you're going to explain it like in terms of ABCs. You're really going to go as much detail because it's a rubber duck, right? That's the point here. The point is to go and say, hey guys, I want to put as much detail in there. So when people actually pick up a task like this, they see there's much care into this. Here's the rules for this. It doesn't matter where you are, who you are, senior, junior, principal, partner, engineer, doesn't matter at all. The value that you bring to this community is the only thing that matters. Titles, where you're from, what your background is, how long you've been in the industry, doesn't matter when you write software.
Doesn't matter
at all.
At all.
In fact, I'll tell you this much. One of the biggest contributors, these are people I've never met ever in real life. You see that second contributor in here. This guy, his name is Gudmundur. He's from Iceland, right? And he's just a student. He's doing his thing, and he stumbled upon the stream, and he delivered an entire feature all by himself. He just picked it all up, end to end, just like that. Random person out there in Europe, right? Working throughout the night to make sure that they feel like they're part of a community. They got an entire feature, like he's ranking second in the highest contribution, to this project. That's not a coincidence.
Amazing. That's amazing.
No, it's not.
Good.
It's not. Yeah. Well, so okay. This is amazing. I feel like we could do an entire, like you and I could sit here and talk for a couple of hours on this alone, right? Because the reality of this is this is almost magic as it exists in our community, right? Because this is low friction for the developer, high yield of code, like there's very minimal barrier to entry. So that's amazing. But you still haven't told me what this thing does.
Ooh.
What does it do?
That would be a good idea, So let me tell you what this is, right? This is, okay, we have a lot of .NET developers. There's a lot of .NET developers out there. They want to incorporate AI into their systems, their businesses. There's a surge right now. And if you're not getting on top of that wave, you're going to be missing out in a big way because, everybody now is thinking, what can I do to make sure that this system, that my system today is optimized? Can we generate more revenue? Can we save more costs? Can we optimize processes incorporating AI, right? How do we do this? I'm gonna share here the architecture, just really a blank screen, and then we're gonna go through it real quick. So okay, so Sam Altman and friends basically went and created, open AI RESTful APIs. Just RESTful APIs. They're stateless. They can be integrated with anything in the world. Go ahead, Rodney. Go ahead.
Pause and tell us what OpenAI is, because I know that there are people
Yes.
that probably don't know.
Yes. OpenAI is the company that created the very popular ChatGPT as a
Right.
product.
Okay.
It's a group. Yeah, it's a group of engineers that got together. They built an amazing system, and I'm going to dive a little bit more into how they did this, because the how they did this is actually really important. But we'll talk about this in a bit. Okay. So you have a bunch of .NET developers sitting in here, and they're saying, "Hey, we have all these customers, right, that are waiting on us in here to kind of integrate AI into our system, right? But we don't have anything that is .NET friendly that would allow us to interact with OpenAI RESTful APIs, without us having to build an entire client and kind of figure out all the documentation and figure out what parameters we need to pass and all that." So I was like, hey, I'm trying to learn OpenAI too. Why don't I turn my learning into kind of a kind of multifaceted investment where I am learning about OpenAI, but at the same time, I'm building a library for myself and I'm sharing it with the rest of the world, right? To basically go and use the standard OpenAI .NET or .NET library like this. So now all of these developers out there will be able to pull in the power of AI into their .NET applications without having to learn too much about how to integrate with the system. That's what this project is.
Okay.
So far.
This is history in the making.
Yes, it is. It's fun.
I'm gonna point out, I love that you are drawing me pictures. Like, I'm a 5-year-old. I like pictures.
I love the stick figures.
Rodney, I
it makes
swear.
sense.
Look, Elon, I swear to God, most of my day as a solutions architect, team lead, is drawing pictures, because
Amen.
I could write documents, I could write a wall of text all day long, but nothing beats drawings. Nothing. If you look at most of these ancient cultures, we know about them today because of their drawings.
Right.
Otherwise we don't know, right?
Right. I don't need to know your characters. It's universal.
That's right. So this is what this project is. It's me learning out loud. That's what I call it. I'm learning OpenAI out loud.
Yes.
And imagine this. Imagine you're reading a book and learning about it, but at the same time, hundreds and thousands, actually thousands really, of other people are learning it because you're learning it.
Yeah.
They're learning it with you. They're seeing it, doing it. What's more fun about this, they're starting to explore it with you. The things that you get stuck on. Have you ever been trying to understand something and be like, I don't know what that means? There are so many of these moments on the stream, and then someone chimes in from Italy, Romania, Australia, and be like, hey, I figured it out. Imagine if the world worked this way.
It's synergy. Magic. Oh my gosh. I love that.
So that is globalized pair programming.
Yes.
Right? That's
God.
the beauty of this.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I'm about to do a session later at the day job where I'm going to sit down with a group of developers and I have a spike I have to complete, right? And I want them to sit there and watch me go through the motions of the spike so that they understand what my thought process was, what I was trying to accomplish. So that way, when we hit the weeds, they can be like, hey, Rodney, I know what we were trying to do, but this isn't going to work, right? So what you're doing is you're building this thing, learning this thing. People are learning it with you because you're learning it, and you're building and producing an artifact that the community can consume.
Exactly.
Amazing.
And we're leveraging something in here. I'm sorry I keep jumping between screens, but first world problems. My screen is too big. I have to reshare and all that, but I'm sorry about that. But here is that's a good problem to have, right? So I want to show you something. I'm not just kind of letting it go circles around the world. You can actually, so I'm leveraging the existing capabilities in GitHub to kind of go and say, I'm just looking for one that is test driven, something like this, send chat completion. If you look at the commit history in here, you will see it going round in circles on the same stream. Like it's pair programming, test driven development. So I'm writing a failing test. Some guy from Germany, Mabruk, will make it pass. Another guy from Uzbekistan will write a failing test. This is all in the same stream. And then another guy here from Seattle will make it pass. And then another guy from Australia will write another test. And then another guy from Puerto Rico. This is all in the same stream. Look at the timeline on this.
Okay, this is even more amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's
beautiful.
By commit.
It's gorgeous.
You're literally pushing a failing test to a branch and letting someone else, while you're live on the stream, make the test pass and then commit it back to the same branch.
Yes.
And then
I could cry. This is just wonderful.
I swear,
if all
guys,
software was built this way, the world would be a better place.
Right?
Look, what's more important, and what a lot of people told me about this kind of methodology, I call it pair program pure pair, meaning that, you know, you're pushing one commit per action. You know, I see a lot of pull requests where it's just whip and completed, and you have no idea that, like, the history is gone. You don't know what happened there. But look at this. I'll just count with you how many countries are involved into this just one feature to make a chat completion. So this is the US, this is Puerto Rico, this is Uzbekistan, that's 3, Germany, that's 4, Australia, that's 5, and then here is England, that's 6. 6 countries. The thing is going in circles, like around the world, on a live stream. I
love it. I love it.
You know what a lot of people told me about this? They said, hey, I don't need, you know, this kind of fulfills me in a way that's more than just learning software engineering. I feel like socially fulfilled. I feel like I have friends and people that I hang out with and I can write code with, and I feel like a part of something bigger than me, right? Isn't that great? Isn't that beautiful?
This is so amazing. Because literally for me yesterday, I was thinking, like, you know, like, I love to code, but my thing is I don't like to code alone. And I don't like to just do coding exercises. I get bored with that. Like, for me, it's about, like, the human aspect, the connection. And I was thinking, like, shoot, like, if there was a coding opportunity where we can all just hang out and, like, come to solutions together and be cool with each other, that would be awesome. So to see this is like, dang.
This is the way, right? And you know, someone from an executive in some business, you know, was asking me this the other day. Said, doesn't this slow down when you have 2 engineers or 3 engineers on the same task? And I said to them, no, because you don't get stuck. You never get stuck because there's multiple brains pushing with you at the same time. Right. But here's the other beautiful part about this. Your code will always be at the highest possible quality. So you don't have to wait for a pull request to have 50 comments on it, because the people that are commenting on your code are actually participating into writing that code with you. Right? And that's the advantage, right? You get the highest possible quality, especially when people are working together, be like, oh, I'm stuck here. Some engineers are a little bit proud. You know, they will let themselves be stuck for days, you know, before they ask for help.
That used
right?
To be me.
Imagine.
Look, if I can't figure it out in the first cycle, I'm asking somebody.
You gotta raise your hand,
somebody
right?
know something that I don't know, because I don't want to waste time. I got a limited amount of time. I don't want to waste it on
nope, it's not necessary.
Imagine, especially for introverted people or people that are a little bit too proud to ask, you know, imagine if the session is dedicated for when they get stuck, someone has their time dedicated, because their success is your success and your success is their success. Like, they can't move forward with completing their task without helping you. Now you're intertwined. Your fate is intertwined. You have to help each other.
I love how we're, like, touching on this, because for me, like, I got burnt out a lot from coding because of the part where you get stuck. And it, like, I would get stuck for, like, weeks, and I'm and I would be prideful because I felt like I had to be a good problem solver, and it was, like, wrong, like, you know, a little wrong or, like, embarrassing to reach out and ask questions. But it's like, no, I love that you guys are just like, help. Please. Thank you.
You just touched on the number one reason why I love open source, right? Ooh. I get an opportunity to see how other people have solved problems. And that adds to my problem-solving toolkit. Oh, I've seen this thing before because I saw it in this person's library. Oh, I get how to solve this problem now. And it changes everything. Right? So this is a very interesting thing. So
I'm excited.
Really bad host, and I haven't been paying any attention to the comments. So I'm gonna point out.
We've just been having delicious conversations. That's all.
That makes me happy. Paul Ward tells us that we should definitely build a Chat GPT powered rubber duck. And it's funny, Paul. I actually had that idea. I don't want it to be a rubber duck. I want it to be an easy button, right? So like I press the easy button, I tell it what I want, and then it just tells me back exactly how to do it easy, right? Like I want like the 2.0 easy button. So yeah, I think this is going to be the next live stream that he does. He's going to build a chat powered rubber duck. He's going to stick it on the desk behind him, and it's going to have Siri's voice, and it's going to be fantastic.
Hey, look,
I'd like to see that.
Cecil is in the comments. Cecil is here.
He says that I'm ignoring him. I was waiting for you to add yourself. Come back. Cecil, we
Ship has sailed without you, Cecil.
He's telling me to stop ignoring him, folks. But I want you to see it. I'm not ignoring him. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So this has been a fun and exciting day full of understanding how to build open source, how to consume ChatGPT. So, okay, we're a good chunk of the way through the stream. Do you have any like code samples?
Oh yeah, big time.
I'd love to see that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do a live coding session in here, just so people understand before I jump into this.
Oh wait, we're gonna do this live now.
Oh yeah, fantastic. I promise you, I code super fast, like really fast. But you know, I want to kind of. Yes. I'm only 10x because of the people that support me in these projects. So they kind of replicate. I think 10x is not the person that can do the work of 10 people, but rather inspire 10 people to do the work.
Yes.
And you know, this is the point. You know, it's not I'm not trying to look at this as a competition. I'm looking at this as a social activity. You know, we are hanging out. How can we hang out and produce something fun? Yes. What's wrong with that? Yeah. That's okay, right? So let me show you. Yeah, we're just having a good time, right? So let me share Visual Studio here, and let's write some code together, because you know code is fun, right? Let's do this. So here's OpenAI demo. I'm just gonna start from scratch intentionally because I want people to kind of see it live, see what it looks like. And here's AI demo. Here you go. Okay, we're good.
I'm clicking buttons.
Yes.
But seriously, Cecil, come back.
Where is he?
I don't know where he went. Like I don't see him anywhere.
He's laughing. He's just laughing. It's like
he's trolling us today.
He really is trolling us.
So we're live coding.
All right. You're a .NET developer. You're a .NET developer, and you want to basically write in an AI powered system in the matter of minutes. I like simple, easy things that you can use. If you type in standard.ai.openai, you're gonna find our library right here. Go ahead and just install it. This is the 0.03 version that we have in here. I'm just going to install it real quick. Let me just show you, because there have been a lot of time and effort that was invested into simplifying the experience. Okay, so you want to access this API, right? You don't know where to start. So I'm just going to go here and say, okay, here's my OpenAI API configurations. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, this is my OpenAI API configurations like this. And I need to pass in a key. In order for you to get that key, you need to register at the OpenAI website and get that key from there. I'm gonna share a key here because it can be rotated, and then I'm gonna tell you guys about a really fun story about what happens when you push your own API key by mistake to a public GitHub repository, right? We've all been there, you know. Oh yeah. So let's create the client. So OpenAI client. So just a simple client, and I'm passing in the configurations to it. No problem there. Just very straightforward. Now I want to chat with OpenAI. I want to have a little conversation with them. So I'm just going to go here and type in a chat completion. Right. And here's
with that extra
parentheses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. You got it. You see another point. Yep, exactly. You guys are pairing with me. You're pairing with me, right?
It's just so fun that way.
You can come back, Cecil. You can come back.
So I'm gonna write in a chat completion request in here. So I want to chat with the system, right? And I'm just gonna go and say, okay, I want to pick up a model, and this piece is very important. A model is what really determines the outcome. A model is algorithm plus data. So you pull a lot of data from the internet, make it go through an algorithm, you get an AI model. And that model is the one that knows how to map your question to the answers, to the data that it has, and give you the right answers.
Oh,
We can
wow.
talk. The model is the most important part. The model is where the money is, and it takes a lot of computation power too. Let's just type in here GPT dash 3.5, and we already have implemented a capability that will give you all the available models, so no problem there. You're going to find that also in the documentation. And then in the messages, I'm just going to write in a new chat completion message like this, just a simple array. And inside that guy, I get to determine who I'm talking to, right? Who is the person that I'm talking to, who I want ChatGPT to pretend to be, right? So I'm going to send a message here and say chat completion message like this. And inside that message here, I'm going to go and say, here's the content. What is C#? And in the role, what role do you want AI to play? I'm just going to say user. So this is me, the user, sending a question, and the AI is going to try to respond to me. So let's just go through this real quick. I created a configuration, I created a client, and I'm creating a chat completion request. The only thing that's left for me to do is basically just send the request. So I'm just going to go here and say chat completion, and here's my result equals. And then I'm going to go and say await OpenAI client. That's the client that I just created. And post chats.post chat completion async. So I'm basically sending in this object that I just created. Let me minimize some of these windows because it's getting busy like this. So I'm sending this chat completion request. Create configuration, click the client, create the request, and then send that request over the wire. Right? And once that's done, I want to kind of print all the answers that come out of this. A cool way, someone might say, oh, you need to iterate, right? You need to basically, send, do a for each or something like that. Here's a nice, cool way that you could do, and I think some people will actually appreciate this. I'm going to go to the response here and choices. This is the equivalent of iteration. And then I'm going to go and say for every choice in here, go ahead and write in the console, right, the role and what this role is saying and all that. So I'm just going to put here a quick string interpolation piece like this. And I'm going to go and say choice dot message dot role. That's for every message that we're iterating through. And then what this role is saying to us. So choices dot messages dot content like that. So this will produce the results out of me asking what is C#. We think. We don't know. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I don't know. But, we might get the blue screen of death. We'll see.
I mean, I've seen worse in demos, but
Yeah, same.
but I do want to nitpick for a second because I'm a nitpick.
Yeah.
I'm that guy that's going to
Please.
nitpick on the pull request.
Please do. Please
So
do.
your choice of array dot for each, like why would you use that over just iterating over it like a normal .NET developer?
So great question. You could do that, or like for instance, let's say you have an array in here, and this array is like let's just say it has A, B, and C like that, right? You could iterate, or you could literally just say array dot. It just looks better, like for each. If I go and say here's my array, and just print console write line, that's it. How beautiful is that?
That's nice to me.
It's just straightforward, right?
I write a lot of reactive code, so things like that are nice to me. I like to do things in line because it's easier, but not I can't tell you the number of times that I've come across a for each loop and I'm just like, do we need it though?
Yes, and that's fair. That's a fair kind of thing. And
Yep.
and by the way, your code really depends on the team that you're working with. Are you working with juniors? Don't try to be like, don't show off, don't floss, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Don't flex.
Right.
Don't flex, right? I mean it. Some people in New York will say floss, but flex works too. But yeah, you could do it this way, or you could just iterate, and we could do either one of them. I just want to.
No, leave it. I love it. Like I love that approach. Okay, so at this point, yeah, well, you got to give us a key.
Let's give it the key.
Show us your key.
That's the key.
Uh-oh.
Now back to our funny story. It's okay. I can revoke the key anytime. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
By mistake, I pushed in the key right into the public GitHub repository, and immediately after 30 seconds, I got an email from OpenAI saying, "Hey, we have detected that your key has been leaked on a public repository, so we revoked it for you and rotated it for you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, how kind of them.
Oh
That's
yeah.
amazing.
That's so kind.
That's software engineers looking after each other.
I love that. I love that. That's kind.
Oh man, that
I
is
love
like
it.
being a good steward of your fellow developer. That is beautiful. That shows that there are still good people in the world.
Literally.
Oh, man, that's amazing.
Literally, that's
a great
the
feature.
beauty of this.
That's a great feature.
Okay, does it work though? I don't know. Does it work? I don't know. We'll find out.
I'm gonna try to run it. Figure it out, right? We're three able-bodied developers. We'd be four if Cecil would come back.
He actually has a chat in the
chat, but he just won't come join the stream. It's like he's like he don't want to deal with us today.
Cecil, come. So let's try to run this, right? .NET run, and then I'm gonna, I'm gonna run it from here. I swear I'm not trying to show off. I'm just trying to kind of because I can't. Yeah, flexing. I'm flexing.
Do you, bro? It's cool.
You do you.
Cecil says, when are we gonna get some...
Boom, it doesn't work. There you go. That's why you don't do fancy stuff.
I need to build the project. Been
Cecil
there, done that.
Says, when are we gonna get some more reactive extensions on the show?
Oh,
he also says, I'm in another meeting.
So to answer his question directly, whenever it's funny because I've got Mike Stonis I want to bring back and ask him some questions. I can always do something on reactive, but I'm sure people get tired of hearing me talk about technology. Yeah.
All right, fine. I'll run it directly from the play button, and
see, that's exactly what happened. See, we just got caught flexing. He was trying to, I can do it the special way. I'm gonna do it on stream, and then boom, it blows up. Fine, I'll do it.
Watch this. Watch the output of this. You're gonna love the output of this. It basically went and said, so I said to, hey, what is C#? And it responded with assistant. C#, pronounced C# is a modern object-oriented programming language. So you fully are integrating and talking to OpenAI. You could put that in a loop and you could continue to chat with it. The one feature that I really wanted to show you today, but unfortunately, I'm still kind of getting some things around, is me using this library to generate AI on the fly as I am telling it to do things. And I'm going to show you that right now in a video because I recorded it in a video. Are you guys interested? I'm going to share the audio here. And then I'm going to go and share this and watch this. Fasten your seatbelt because this is going to be good. I'm telling you.
Adding to the screen.
Here. So here's the videos and here's this guy. Watch this. Tell me if you can hear the voice. In it. Can you hear it? Can you hear me talking in the video?
So, yeah.
Good. Let's do it. Watch what I did here. Make a web page with a button in it. Make the background of that color green. Make the background of that button blue. Make the text color inside that button white.
I'm done. I'm shutting the stream down. I'm done with you.
This is crazy. Craziness
on live internet. You trying to put me out of work?
Wait for it. Wait for it. Watch this. When I click the button, show text inside that text box that says, "Hello, OpenAI." So when I click the button, "Hello, OpenAI." I didn't write one line of code. I just dictated. Coming in theaters near you.
Wow. Wow.
So wow. Rodney's like, unbelievable.
This is how you know Hassan is a real developer. Because he does the real stuff deal. Like this.
The real deal.
Wow.
The possibilities are endless. Imagine people, that some of the things I'm thinking about right now, just so people understand, is the idea of, people not even ever have to interact with UI, but AI tailors a user experience for them based on their experience with the system and based on their requirement. Like, let's say you're a salesperson sitting on a call and the customer is calling. AI is listening in, generating UI that helps you complete your task instead of you clicking around, in a big dashboard with 50 million buttons, don't know where to go, what to do, and you miss the sale. believe it or not,
My goodness.
60% of inbound calls go missing. Look, 60% of inbound calls go missing. Do you know why? Training, people are not familiar. You know, they couldn't find the button, the system is down. 60%. And these are inbound calls. The customer is calling to give you money. That's not cold calling, right? So imagine how AI can,
Oh
you
man.
know, really help businesses generate more revenue, kind of help people. You know, imagine if you have a really expert, you know, on the call, an expert salesperson, and it's learning from them, and it's taking that knowledge and making a fleet pattern where it can share it with all the new salespeople, so they know how to interact with customers and how it can boost the system. There's millions of these ideas out there, millions.
Man, so
So
like
many different uses.
you just took like the big can of worms that I've been sitting in the shed for like years, and you just cracked the seal on it. Like so the joke being, when I was when I was in my younger years and I didn't understand the way the world works in software development, this and it was like legitimately I wanted to build the same thing Iron Man had. I wanted my own thing that I could just talk
Jarvis.
to, and it would just
You
right.
want your own Jarvis.
I want my own digital butler is what I wanted, right? To go do
Yeah.
the things for me that I don't want to do for myself.
Yeah.
And what you're showing me now is that the thing that I dreamed about then is real. Like it's right in it. And not only is it real, I can start it with a couple of lines of code that you just showed me.
Yeah.
Yes.
This
Dreams
is
come
the
true.
new world, right? Like this is
Yep.
impressive, my
Yep.
friend. Yeah.
And look, the product itself and the library itself, and this is crazy to say in a stream like this, but the library, the product, OpenAI, everything will eventually turn into legacy. I'm trying to use this as an excuse to connect more people to each other and show them what it's like to work as a community. Okay, that's the
Yes.
main purpose.
I
It's
love
it's
that.
people first approach.
I love
People
that.
first. Anybody out there can build software. Listen, guys, there's a ton of .NET libraries out there that support OpenAI. I'm not inventing something new here. But what makes this library special is that it's a story of a bunch of engineers coming together from everywhere around, forgetting about their differences, backgrounds, where you're from, how long you've been in the industry, doesn't matter. And they're getting to work together, help each other. Even the little moments where we get on a, you know, kind of in a segue, like yesterday we're talking about the ostrich algorithm, where you just stick your head in the sand and pretend the problem's not there and maybe it will go away. These little
Yeah.
these little moments,
Yeah.
that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
I love that's what you're passionate about, because like sometimes I feel like even in, and I've talked about this on Twitter, is like sometimes even with the introduction of AI and what it means for us to be developers using AI, it's like sometimes we need a story. Humans connect to stories rather than just lines of
Yes.
code.
Yes.
And something that's going to drive us further and drive technology further is the heart to heart connection and those heart stories. So
Yes.
I love that that's very important to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you invest in developing a great relationship and connection with your engineers, you can build a million products. But if you lose your engineers for the sake of one product, they will never work with you again. They
Yeah.
will never deal with you again. Is it worth it? I don't
No.
know. Not.
So I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I know that we were supposed to talk about the whole open AI and all that, but the interesting part about this to me is really more so the sauce that you have created with this product. The
Yes.
product, like you said, is unimpressive to a large degree, right? What
Yes.
is impressive is how you've literally detailed something that, in my opinion, most software shops get wrong,
Yeah.
which is how to pair program,
Yep.
how to properly utilize resources, how to do test-driven, behavior-driven development, how to really red green a test, how to write the least amount of code to solve the problem. Like you have literally bottled that
Mhm.
up and given that to the people, and
Yep.
it's something that. And I've seen a lot of shops. I've got a lot of software developer friends. I
Yep.
know a lot of people around the world, and a lot of people have told me that this is not an uncommon problem. How to
Yep.
organize the work, how to articulate the work to the developers. Like
Yep.
all of that is something that as an industry, in my opinion, we struggle with. So
Yep.
to me, that's the beauty of this is it, like you
Yep.
said, that's the real thing, the human experience, the fact that you have shown that you can have 8 minds from around the world
Yep.
solve a problem.
Yep.
A problem that could have taken an individual one of those minds weeks to accomplish was solved in hours.
Yep.
Because we
Exactly.
put our collective thought process together and there is no stalling.
Yep.
Because what do you do when you ask for help? You're asking for a fresh opinion.
Yep.
So isn't it better if when the roadblock is there, the opinion is freely given and not even asked for, right? Like you didn't ask me to tell you, oh, you have a parenthesis.
Yep.
I told you because it now hinders progress.
Yep.
It is now a waste of everyone's time. So it's
Yep.
better for all of us to just put our egos to the side and
Exactly.
put software first.
Yes. Exactly.
And
Absolutely.
have fun with it too. Yeah.
Man, So like now when do you do this? Because now I feel like I need to show up just
we
to
literally
be
we
told.
literally gather every night, around 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we just hang out. It's just bunch of people just really love what they do, and they hang out. At the core of this, Rodney, is a community that is less focused on to be the best on the team, but to be the best for the team. How useful can I be? A community that really doesn't care about some bureaucratic nonsense like, oh, you need to show up on time and be in seat and all of that stuff. We don't care. We have a stream going on. Join in at your own time or pick up a task and look how we did these tasks. But the most important part of this standardization. Standardization. We need to agree how we want to build these components so anybody, anywhere can pick up a component and run with it. And we know 100% it's going to take the least amount of time and effort to develop and deploy and be merged and actually become a consistent, easy to maintain product.
Yeah. Not reinventing the wheel.
Yes.
Yes.
Not reinvent the wheel. We don't have to research every single time what is the right regular expression to validate email.
Yeah.
We already done that 50 times.
Yeah. Trust us.
I'm gonna be that guy again, and I'm gonna stand on my little itty bitty soapbox, and I'm gonna say, we talk a lot on Twitter in the developer communities. There's this ongoing struggle between over architected and under architected, and I always say, like, you wouldn't give a junior developer a feature that implements of over and under architected is irrelevant to me. I want architecture. I want some pattern by which this system says this is agreeable. So that way there's no question.
Yes.
And if the pattern's wrong, if we do it wrong, that's fine. We correct. It's no big deal. But I'm not going to spend hours over architecting a thing. I'm not going to just let it go out into the wild and expect it to come back tame. I'm going to set a standard and say, this is how we intend to do it. And if anybody can raise their hand and say, you know what, that won't work. Matter of fact, one of the best testers, QA engineers I've ever worked with, stood up in a design session and told me, Rodney, that won't work. We're drawing on a whiteboard. And she says, that won't work. What do you mean that won't work? And she explains to me why it won't work. And in that moment, I made a friend, right? Like, because now I haven't wasted time.
I love that.
That was it. That was the moment.
Friends for life. Because you have helped me save time, which is precious, right? You can't get that time back.
You have lives.
We can't get that time back, right? So if we are doing what we can as a team, as a focused unit to drive everything to ground as quickly as possible, we as a team are stronger and faster than any of our individual parts.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. If you ask me, like, I'm going to put on my engineering manager hat here for a second, say, what is the biggest wasters of time for software engineers? Too much meetings and arguing over things that could be standardized and agreed upon, and we move forward from there so we can focus on the things that matter the most. That's what the standard does. That's what the standard community is trying to resemble. And I'm glad that I could just pick up a topic like OpenAI and just kind of show people that, here's the thing, Elon, here's the thing, Rodney, we could talk about theories all day long. Show me it in action. Show me how a team come together, movement. Show me this. You can write books all day. I promise you, I wrote 3 of them. I didn't find anything more impactful than sitting down with people on the ground and actually work with people. You know what I mean? Right?
I'm a social butterfly. So So for people who are interested in doing this, like what is your GitHub? Like what is the YouTube channel, and how experienced do they need to be in order to participate? And
No
honestly, these
experience
questions,
required.
these questions are for me too, because I'm like,
Yeah.
it sounds
Let me
If
tell you
he's
fun.
gonna
this.
let me join, then there's no requirements.
I would love to have you guys on these streams, for so many reasons. Like as many people as possible coming in, and with your experiences, it just kind of brings in a completely new flavor to the whole endeavor. And I'd really love to kind of, have you join in. Let me just show you how you join in. First of all, if you go on GitHub, search for something called the standard OpenAI. Right? If you search for that, and I'm going to send the links, so there's probably 50 million of these, but I'm going to send the links here, and let's see here. I need to write it exact. Let's say, so github.com, and here's OpenAI, and here's standard.ai.openai. This is the repository. It already reached 165 stars in
Wow.
1 month time frame, and it's already being used in multiple places. Let's share this link. Can I actually post in the links area?
I got it. I
You
got
got
You
it?
got it,
Okay.
Rodney?
I got it.
Okay. So there's that. Now here's the fun stuff. In the repository itself, because it's people first, you're gonna find the standard community on Discord right here. So if you click on this guy, it'll take you to the standard community. There is 500 engineers from all over the world in this community, a community that I've been fostering for years now. And it has people from all over the place. Let me also share the link to that. So let's just kind of copy link address. Go and visit the standard community. Join in and ask us questions. There's a lot of people from everywhere, and there's some really funny conversations that happen in there. It's not just a bunch of robots just saying, "Hey, do this, do that." Nope,
Yeah.
it's just people, and people they come from everywhere. So that's another part. Lastly, you want to get up to speed on engineering in general. Here's the book. It's open source. It took me years and years to collect that. It's huge. It's huge book. It has all the engineering standards and guidelines that I could have. And not just that, I called upon the community earlier this year. I said, "Hey guys, can you translate this for me?" And now we have it translated into over 10 languages. You have
My
French,
goodness.
Arabic, Italian. I love, and the Uzbek language, the Uzbek community. There's a huge Uzbek community, that is, kind of really, really eager to learn about, the technology and all that. It's all translated in there. And not just that, I even show people, in the standard, I show them, hey, here's how you would implement it in different programming languages. So it's not really exclusive to .NET. Do you want it in Go? Do you want it in
Hassan, there's no
Kotlin?
book. There's no book. I
What?
don't see a book.
You didn't see the book?
I
It's
don't see
not
a book. I
there?
see standard.ai.open. You're scrolling through a book that I don't see.
Oh, it's not showing the screen? Let
No.
me try again.
It's probably the large screen.
StreamYard. StreamYard is killing us.
It's okay.
Here it
There we
is.
go. Now there's a book.
Here's the standard. So this is the standard, right? You can see it now. And here's the community. You can go to the community, the Discord, and here's the massive, massive book. It has a lot of stuff. By the way, when, some people said to me, I don't want to go through it. I just want a PDF copy. Here's the PDF copy right here, right? Also, in addition to all of this, if you decide to buy the hard copy on Amazon, all the funds, 100% of revenue goes to World Central Kitchen. So you're basically getting a hard copy and you're making a charity donation at the same time. This is really important for people to know. But then again, back to what I was saying, here's all the languages that has been translated to, human languages. And also here's all the programming languages that shows you how you can implement the standard in these programming languages. I told you a while back, someone said to me, in our first session, someone said to me, "Hey, maybe software engineering is not for you." I was like, well, okay, if I'm not smart enough for software engineering, maybe it's too complex. Let me use my brain as a filter and simplify the world for people. And that's what the standard is.
Yes.
It's really important
Yes.
piece of literature that I need everyone to read.
Yes. The standard.
The standard. The standard is out there.
The standard.
So this has been fun.
Yes.
We have
Yes.
learned all the things about how to build software in the open, the standard, OpenAI, ChatGPT, how to have a conversation with it. We learned that Hassan is working diligently to try and automate all of us out of a job. So thanks to him now for that. He's gonna point that out. You know.
He's a wizard.
Right.
No wizard.
A wizard.
I got the hair and the beard for it. May as well. May embrace it.
Magic.
I'm getting a hat one of these days. Once I become a full RX wizard, I'm gonna get a hat and I'm gonna do talks in my hat. It's gonna be fantastic.
By the way, Rodney, I actually do wear a black hat.
Hold up.
I'm not kidding. If you go to my GitHub and look at the profile, I'm Gandalf when he was younger. A wizard. The standard wizard, yes.
So Paul is hitting like all the spicy things. I got to put this up here, right? Because
What is this thing?
how to not write code by pulling in a NuGet package that does it for you. Like, this is my mantra.
Yes.
Oh, wait, somebody else solved my problem? Yeah,
like,
take it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm grateful.
Yeah, it's great. Okay,
it's like standing on the shoulders of the giants. That's what pulling these libraries mean. Go ahead, Rodney. Sorry.
But I mean, that's software as a whole, right? Like,
yes.
think of all of the developers that used to have to deal with punch cards, right? Like, they suffered so that we don't have to, and right now we quote unquote suffer so that the next generation doesn't have to, right? So how do we constantly build a bridge to make it better for the next set of people that have to come in and maintain that crap that I wrote 2 years ago, right?
Yep.
Like,
putting it to great use.
Amen. You got to.
Absolutely, 100%.
Oh man. All right, I kind of don't want to end the stream because like I'm having so much fun here, but
I know, me too.
So I'll go ahead and be the oh God, ask Hassan about no toasters.
No toasters.
No toasters.
Like, what is
no
this
toasters. So one of the principles that we have in the standard community is that a lot of senior engineers would come in and figure something out. They learn how it works, and then they go automate it. So the junior engineers that come in, they have no idea how that works, right? They don't get that experience of actually learning how to build something together. So people will build like a bunch of little tools and be like, oh, there's 50 knobs you have to turn so we can do that. I feel like it takes away from the learning experience for the junior engineers to kind of get into that. If you have like a team of junior engineers, you want to let them build the entire thing end to end. Don't try to do magic for them, right? Don't try to do magic for them. Let them build the experience end to end, because it's people first. I want you to learn. The product will be legacy. You will not. Our relationship should not. So that's what no toasters mean. Don't go and automate.
That's a word
things.
right there.
Like right. There are things you can automate that is around the project. Like we do have build pipelines and do the build for us and all that. I don't go tell people, hey, go build it manually on your computer and I'll take your word for it. But when it comes to developing the components, sometimes people take it way too far. Rodney or Elon, have you ever been in a situation where you're joined a project and be like, oh, you just have to inherit this magic component and it does all the stuff for you, and then it ends up the magic component is just a dumpster fire of all kinds of craziness that you have to fix. It just happens sometimes.
So a long time ago in another life, back when I did web, I worked on a system that like you couldn't Google the errors that would come from the stack output in the IDE, because every error that you would get would be a custom error that was wrapped because the system did magic. Now, the magic the system did was fantastic, but the spin up time for an average developer on the system,
it's
months.
A killer. Yeah.
If I can't
Soul crusher.
If I can't walk in day one and start adding value as a developer, I feel like I am less than good. And that immediately will paint the picture of how I interact with this software for the remainder of the time that I'm there. You should seek to reduce that as much as possible. Documentation, letting them build the components, letting them see how the components are built, including them in design sessions. Like, show them all the things. How else do juniors become seniors? How else do seniors become architects? How else do architects become, like, how do you learn if not somebody showing you a path?
Yep.
Like,
Absolutely.
let's stop with all of this. I'm trying to keep job security nonsense, and let's make the industry a better place, because there's going to come a point where I'm going to be on a project where you wrote some code, or you're going to be on a project where I wrote some code, and you're going to look and say, Rodney, what were you doing when you wrote this? It's going to happen. It's going to happen, because I haven't always been good. I'm not good now, right? Like,
yes, absolutely.
Always getting better.
Yes.
So always getting better.
Right. So embracing that concept is fantastic. I'm gonna steal your sauce, just so you know. I'm gonna steal your sauce, and I'm gonna try and replicate it as much as possible.
I want everyone everywhere to see the standards, see our practices, because it brings a lot of happiness. A while back, I was working on a team where someone said to me, Hassan, I stopped going to therapy sessions because I'm getting the fulfillment. I don't need a therapist anymore. I swear to God, word for word. They said, I'm pairing every day. I have 4 hours dedicated in my calendar every day. I get to talk to someone. I get to sing with them. I get to watch funny YouTube videos with them and get work done with them. Word for word. You know, it works.
Changing lives, not just works. It's changing people's quality of life.
It really does. It really does.
Quality of life.
It really does. I mean, look at how this community is growing. Look how people are just super, excited about being part of the stream. Sometimes we kind of just poke at each other and laugh, but people get out of it, be like, I wrote code, I learned something new, and I have friends to hang out with and talk to. How beautiful is that? Right?
Yeah. Okay, this is the last one, I promise, because we're just gonna keep going if we keep at this any longer. So Paul says, basically, if the code can't improve, I didn't learn anything. And yes, that's the whole point. This perpetual place of learning, fulfillment through learning, like enjoyment of solving problems with people, for people. Like, go forth and
impact.
Yeah, like go impact someone's life. Make it better. Yeah.
Yes.
That's the lesson for today, right? So this has been another edition of Inside.net. Hassan, it has been a joy having you here as always.
Yes.
I enjoy interacting with you. I think that you have found literal magic. And if we can get the rest of the world on board with that magic, I think the development community will be healthier.
Thank you for having me. Both of you, I appreciate it. And Cecil, whatever you are, thank you. I appreciate you.
Right. As we close, I want to point out, I am not ignoring him. He didn't come back. He didn't come
Abandoned. Abandoned.
He tried to blame me live in front of everyone. Like, oh, Rodney wouldn't let me in. Anyway, you folks have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. Take care.